We've been talking to the last couple of days about problems people may have because of caribou shortage. Recently, we've had restrictions on how much caribou people can hunt, and this may affect the amount of food they then have. So we see that this could be a problem with their nutrition. So yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're meeting in Kotzebue with health aides from villages in the Kotzebue area to discuss this problem and see what we might work out together. My name is Betsy Nobman. I'm with the Alaska Area Native Health Service, and I work as a nutritionist. The health aides are in various villages, and we have a guest with us today, Della Keats, who has much knowledge about traditional ways of eating and food gathering, and we'd like to start by hearing more about those and then discuss the present, see what kinds of problems we're facing in the present. Della?
Yeah. We find out about the caribou because we can't go without it from generation till now, till 1976. And it's kind of short of caribou right now. But in those days it was kind of short too. There was no caribous around when I raised. But they have to hunt for 3 months. My old dad and my brother used to hunt for caribous for 3 months and take them home. And on these later, there were a lot of them around every village. And the people kind of don't care for them. In those days, they never waste not a thing, not a hoof even. They eat every bit of it. Just the horns, they throw it, they use it for zinc too, for net, for tools to make the horns. I believe it too myself, how they used to care for the caribous. But I've seen their waste. They dig the ground and put all the bones there, like marrow bones, and what they cook the bones when they make a tallow out of it. There's one big hole just full of feathers, ptarmigan feathers. And right here the next one, just only bones. That's how they used to live. Never throw nothing. They, when they get caribou, when they cut it, they never throw it, the skin. They use it for clothing. When they could dry the meat, they dried it. And when they want to have fresh, pork, frozen, they like pork. Them old people never have stove. They eat pork, but they have to eat it with oil. But certain way, they make one carcass to eat frozen. Certain way. When they kill two caribou, they just like they fold the legs this side up too, and then cover the side with snow and let it stand overnight. And the next day they have to cut it into pieces, and they save everything. Everything, meat, bone, liver, stomach, and them tunusisak, they call them Bible. I don't know where they get that Bible. Maybe this lady they named it Bible because they always open it what they call it. I didn't get the name in English. That one, and a thing to make salami. It got fat in it. Put meat and blood, lots of fat, and meat, liver, any kind heart. Mix it with fat. They make salami with blood, but they never use spices. Just like that, just with fat. And the liver, they use that stomach that make it dry, sometimes raw. When it's raw, you empty a little bit, it's good to eat. Put it in the oil. Or when it's dry, use it for talo, punyak. This punyak means, talo means it's made from the bones of a caribou. They smash it, they have a big rock, and against a rock, put under a skin to it, so they won't waste it and they won't grab it from the floor. They hammer it, the bone, and save everything and cook slowly. Makes more tallow out of it. And use the broth for drink. Boy, it's good. And this liver, this is the one, the liver of whole carcass, what they get it for overnight. The liver, you have to, maybe half, you have to slice it, just like grate it, and while it's raw, while it's frozen, you let it melt it and stir it. Make that mean it's fluffy. Add it with a nerukak, caribou stomach. It's good. Many people didn't know about it, I guess, around. They never eat it too much. But this stomach, they could eat it. They know it to eat. Just add it with oil and sugar, all right. But the skin, the stomach skin, have to dry it. Sometimes Mama let me taste it. It's kind of it's kind of too dry, all right, but I have to eat it too when she tell me. And stir it out the liver. It's good. And the stomach, while it's raw, you have, before it's freeze up, you have to empty a little bit, half of it, and cut the liver and cut the tenderloin and the muscles, meat, heart, mix it with that stomach and put it away. Tie it and put it away. When it get a little sour, the liver is good too. Boy. Oh. Yeah. Your
dad used to tell you about him?
Yeah. That's my uncle and my old folks. They live up there. They raised that way from their grandparents, from their parents and greats. They know. And from child, they raised them not to use knife. hardly knife in those days. But they tell them not to use knife. They always eat cow with their, like, dog, dog. And bannektaks, dried meat, with their teeth. They eat, and they have a strong teeth. Because my old uncle died when he was around 110, Mark Mitchell. He never lose his teeth, not even one rotten. Only one that break. I wasn't like him myself. I lost all my And what else now?
What did you tell us about willow leaves?
Oh, they're desserts. All kinds of berries. Salmon, blue, black, cranberries, and mountain berries. You know tinnix? What you call in English? What you call in English tinnix? Huh? Look it? Huh?
Berry.
Berry, right. Oh, all kinds of berry. In English, them tinnix. Excuse me. And but there's two more berries, all right. That Kobuk and angurwaks, them red berries, almost like big as blue. They grow on dry, even on the islands. They never pick those. I don't know why. We never have much that kind of.
Crowberries?
Huh?
Crowberries?
Crowberries. They make jam out of it. I just find out lately. In those days, they never eat.
Nothing.
No.
But you did. It's lots of berries, didn't you?
But this man, I know this man used to eat them. Crowberries. Just barely like that, boy. They're strong.
What about the willow leaves you told me yesterday? Your mother would send you out?
Brother and I, one time, mother tell us to go across and go eat willow. And I asked, how? How we gonna eat it? And she tell us to cut it from the top and peel it out the inside. Boy, it tastes good to eat sugar. It's just like it have sugar. And then after she tell us not to eat too much, we might get sick from it. We surely want to have some right more. The inside, not the top, it's good too. When you scrape the willow, one kind willow, not cotton, that upiro, not nunangeg, that upivik, upikit, upivik, they nachimik. We eat it for dessert, and our wild potatoes. Wild potatoes, they pick them in the fall time. Sometimes they keep them under the ground, store them, and in a poke and in a tallow, what they made from the bones, make tallow from the bones. They sometimes add it with marrow and wild potato.
Is anybody still using wild potato?
Yes, yes, I do. I like it every year. Them wild.
What about the other villages? You want to tell us where you're coming from? I know who you are, but
My name
Tell
is
us.
Nellie Griest, and I'm from Shungnak. We were brought down here for
nutrition workshop because shortage of caribou. At home we had this problem. In fact, everybody had this problem all over, I guess. But anyway, at home people complain of get tired of eating fish every meal. I noticed they try to serve it in any way they can, and it's pretty hard to do some fishing in summertime too because of shallow water.
Are there any small game around? Do people hunt rabbits? Anything like that?
Not that I know of. I mean, I don't really push around and asking people whether they were staring for rabbits or ptarmigans.
That's why I get ptarmigan from Shungnak too. One sack. I mean ptarmigans, but they snare. Rabbit. Sometimes.
If they're available, they would be good substitute foods for people.
Bear. Oh.
Bear too.
And spruce ptarmigan too. Good too. And they're like, you can go. Yeah, was it? Lihat ko sinik pisugay, mako ubagut panaligat. Ilokot.
Porcupine.
Yeah. People like porcupine too. I like them too. Not too much.
Would be a good red meat.
Yeah, their meat is good.
Some of the things that we're thinking about when we think of caribou, things that we might be missing would be protein and iron and calories and niacin. Those things, porcupine would give you those things. Bear meat would, rabbit would, ptarmigan would. And you were talking about seal too, and using liver a lot. Now, if seal liver was available, that would be good. Any kind of liver. Good food. Tasty.
But not bull bear.
Okay. How come?
Maybe your flesh will turn into black and Eskimo into white.
Oh, okay.
I'm just joking.
But it's no good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No good for
It's
polar
not.
bear.
Yeah. I've heard it's not good to eat.
It would
the
make
liver.
people sick.
Yeah.
But the other livers would be good.
It's good.
Fish
Any
liver.
kind liver. Yeah.
Very good.
Even Sismarav always put it away the liver, dried it and cook it and put it in the oil. They usually put their food in the oil. I mean pokes. Seal pokes. There's no other things to put it away,
Save it for winter through the long springtime.
Even
too.
a beluga stomach, it's good too. They're not like plastic bags.
That's a good point. We talked about plastic bags too, and how we should stay away from those if there's going to be
And ugruk stomach,
fermented food.
ugruk
Use the old
stomach
kind.
and seal stomach, they're dried up to put away, just for put away food for enough meal in a day or a day. A man hunt, they use these bladder, seal bladder and ugruk's bladder, just like plastic.
What about your village?
There's a lot of people in our village, over 500. And there used to be a lot of caribous. And since we're not allowed to hunt, and seems like we'll have problem later on. There's rabbit, ptarmigans, muskrat. There's a lot of white fish, but some families seems like they will have problem later on. They don't have boat to fish, and store-bought, they're real high, and we have to be careful what and I mean, we should gather food as much as we could, and be store-bought. We should be careful. I find out yesterday some food are not good for us and some food are good for us. And I was kind of worried about anemic, because our younger kids, they like meat and they didn't care much about fish anymore. And they sure will miss the meat, eating meat. And we'll seems like we'll have problem later on with anemic if we don't be careful. We don't tell them what to eat, what is good or not, right?
That's a good point. So the anemia you mentioned, especially, I think that's something we need to think about as a real problem that may develop even more than we have now. We have to look to, besides the red meats, which are real good sources of iron, and the liver, that good liver, then some other possibilities would be the cereal products that have iron added to them. Baby cereal that might have iron, bread that would be enriched. Those would be some other sources, but those good greens too. I'll bet those willow leaves have some iron. Good sources of iron. Some of the vegetables, spinach.
In our
Some of the
village,
greens.
there's a lot of sour ducks too. If people can gather sour ducks in, but they usually get them in July, and you have to keep them in cool place till it freezes up.
How did you used to keep sour duck, Della?
Sometimes green, sometimes I freeze, keep it in the freezer, fresh. And just like you eat it, lettuce. When you eat Eskimo food, dried meat, dried fish, dried meat, ugu, dried with oil.
After you get bags and bags, cook them and put them to barrel.
With oil? Plain.
Just plain.
Sometimes people cook it with blubber. It's good too. It tastes good too. Cook it with, yeah.
Wild rhubarb.
I like it more half raw, half cooked. Sour duck. That's just how I used to put it away. But not cook it, boil it, make it thick till it gets thick and I like half cooked and half raw.
Sounds good. And then you keep it in a cool place.
And freeze it.
Freeze it. Make sure
Bag.
it's freezing.
Yeah.
You had mentioned some other things that sounded very nutritious, Della. Using the blood. That would be a very good source of nutrients. And the bones, that would be another good source of nutrients. We were looking through diets yesterday, seeing how people's diets looked. And calcium was one of the problem nutrients that could be improved. Those bones were serving that purpose. They were providing calcium in the diet. So that was a good source. It's a very good idea and wise idea to be cautious and use everything and don't waste, right? I think we forgot to identify where you were from, Emma.
Selawik.
You're from Selawik. And what was that? Kobuk. Okay, we wanted to make sure we did tell where you were from. And we have some other health aides with us too. And if you'd like to change places now, we can continue our discussion and talk about some problems they might be seeing. I'll let you start right in and introduce yourself and tell where you're from.
I'm Lillian Johnson from Amler. I'm being a health aide, and I'm glad I come down to this workshop, nutrition workshop, and I learn a little bit what I have to know, what I don't know before. And I'm glad I came down. And we had a caribou shortage this year too because they're limited. And some people are kind of short already in home. And we just got fishes. Most of them got fish. And then quite a few people, they're hunting for getting some ptarmigans, rabbits, and some beaver too, those who could get some. And there's some porcupines too, all right, but they have to go way up the hills to, where the lots of trees are by the mountains. They have to look for that. And then those, I can talk about porcupine because I like it so much.
Do you?
Yeah, we can eat that porcupine, all of it. We want to just stir the cuts like stomachs. And we can eat liver and some lungs. And that, who's that? What is that? I forgot.
Then anakumaks are good for diarrhea too, eh?
Oh yeah, those
They all tried it
old people used to save those what you call those intestines.
Intestines?
Intestines, yeah.
They are ball kind, like this.
From the large
In
intestine.
the large intestine cuts.
Hmm.
The old people always dry it and use it for medicine for diarrhea.
From
And
porcupine.
Even
yeah,
right
some
now.
people still use it, but I didn't use it before. But I've been heard that before, and I've been seeing those cuts hanging and dried and stored away, ready for it. Diarrhea come.
Good to be ready, isn't it?
Uh-huh. It's really gonna be a poor this year, because we used to have caribou all the time, and some of our kids, like my boys, one of my boys don't like to eat fish all the time, and just like he will have anemia pretty soon. And so that's why we try to have some ptarmigan and rabbit best we could, but there's some rabbits this fall, but I try to put snares, but every time I catch rabbit, there's a lot of fox up there. We can't eat fox though. I mean that in our area. I don't know,
but-
some people do. I didn't hear that before. I think that's
You made a good point, though, about you don't want your boy to eat fish all the time. You want him to have some of different things, variety of foods. So that's good. The ptarmigan and the rabbits. The red meats are going to be good sources of iron, but we can also look to a couple other foods too once you get to the store. And if you're purchasing some things, you could look to dry beans or dried peas. That's another possibility. How does that sound, Della? Would you like that?
Sure, I like beans.
Do you? They're good
Then every
sources.
time when I go shopping, I'll buy beans.
Will you? Fine. It's a good source of iron.
Yeah.
So if the meat isn't there, or you don't get some game, you could try those things. Some peanut butter would be another good, inexpensive source. Eggs, another one.
I'm
Gather
glad I
eggs.
come to this meeting so I can point it what it have calories, calcium and stuff like that in our stores, like milk and stuff. So if I go back home, I'll try to feed my boy with that.
Good. You've had a good workshop then.
Yeah.
Irma?
I'm Irma Hunnicutt from Point Hope. We've been learning about the caribou shortage. We can't eat one food all the time, you know, when we get tired of it. At home we had muktak, black muktak and quail meat. I know we can't eat that every day. We get tired of it. And we don't like store-bought food. We can't eat that all the time too. We always say I know we talked some healthy talks about anemic, because of caribou shortage. I know there's some children that are already anemic, and maybe there's some adults too. And we learned about the 4 basic food, about their calories, their iron, calcium, and I want to ask you, what does the fish bone have?
Fish bones. Fish bones would be good sources of calcium. Just like the bones in the caribou are good sources of calcium. We start out needing calcium in our own diet so we can build good, strong bones and teeth. And the same thing for the animals. They use that calcium too to build bones and teeth. So if you're eating their bones, you're getting good calcium in your diet.
While they're cooked or while they're cooked, fish, we can eat bones, but we have to chew it, the bone, all right, and swallow the juice, cook it, all right. All right, it's good.
Right. Cook it up. Make it
Sometimes cook it up and cook and chew it and throw the bones out.
What about she-fish?
The bones are hard.
Hard in those. Can't eat those. What other kinds of fish would you use the bones?
Like smelts.
Needlefish?
Herring,
Herring?
yeah, herring.
If you went to the store,
If
if you bought sardines,
We don't have any. We always call smells those colored rocks in ours. We can have echlanax.
Oh,
Those
and
store-bought
and cayenne.
salmon.
smallest.
store-bought
Branders
salmon.
and needlefish, yeah. Can I use it? What? But them big heads and sharp needle over here. Them fish, bullheads, fish, bowheads, or bow or bow. They always eat with the bow, and they're frozen.
What about your community? What's happening?
I'm Nora Booth from NOTEC. Well, most of us talk about caribou shortages in our home too. Some people are fishing through the ice, and I know some people at home are fishing at nighttime for musharks to get those musharks. Or some people are fishing through the ice net. And we had rabbits and moose. We have there. Well, there's maybe a couple kids that are anemic. Maybe they will start getting more anemic later if we don't. Maybe if we know how to buy some bought food store, and we could have enough what our body should have, like calcium, protein, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin, and whatever our body should have.
I think maybe that's the message we've been talking about during the workshop and talking about some today, is using what kinds of things we have and are used to using traditionally, making use of whatever those things are, going back and getting more rabbits or ptarmigan, what's available, but then we'll have to use the knowledge and find the knowledge to make good choices within the stores too, so that we're getting the best nutritious foods to meet the situation. I think we have a chance to be ready for problems that may develop. You were suggesting that maybe
That's
we'll
if
see
we
more.
have enough money to buy store-bought food.
That's a very good point. That
They're getting too high too at home.
the cost of food.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Even at home, maybe that one whole chicken costs almost $10. I think that little bag.
Did you say $10
Yeah.
for one whole chicken?
It's true. It's true.
That's high, very high.
Really high.
Mhm.
A caribou bag, a little small bag, costs $35 around there. Reindeer. Maybe same way with caribou. On these last days, they raised with a caribou, mostly meat. We have
Almost every day.
every day.
We used to before.
Cook it,
Cook it
in
in
all
different
way,
ways,
different way. Roast, fry, boil,
Now what?
hamburger, made it hamburger. And they can't go without oil. We have to have oil all the time, every day. They raise. As Eskimo, we raise with oil. Can't go without it.
We have to look at a lot of things, don't we? We have to look at what
Yes,
people
yes.
want and are happy with, and then what's acceptable to them. And then we have to think about the cost of it, where we're going to come up with that cost, and the money to buy the foods if we need to get them purchased. We have to think about whether they're nutritious foods, make good substitutions, not get into substituting empty calorie foods like sodas and pop and candy bars for the caribou we may be short on. So we have to be aware of those nutritional considerations and then think about the safety too, which we haven't talked about too much, but it's another thing we need to think about in the whole problem here. I think you've brought up a lot of good points, and we've talked about them during the workshop. We'll be talking more about them in the next couple of days, trying to work out solutions and see where we can go and be ready to face problems people may have as a result of this caribou shortage.